Welcome back to another week of Carnage Unleashed. Today we have a special guest, Colton Hensley. How you doing today?
What up? Doing good. I'm just out here, man. I'm happy to be on again.
Awesome. I appreciate you stopping back out again.
Yes,
Heck
yes.
yeah, man.
Yeah, hopefully this we'll keep this fight going, because I know last time you were trying to get on Carnage Fight Series 2 and fighting for the belt. Now you have another opportunity here in Carnage Fight Series 3 in Findlay, Ohio to fight for the belt. What's your thoughts on this fight?
Man, I'm so hyped. I feel like I've been in camp since like April. I had two different fights back. Both of them, some came up. Uh, I'll get into that later. But yeah, no, I'm just excited, man. I really am. I'm excited. I have a pretty good feeling that this dude's gonna show up. Seems like a pretty good dude. So yeah, and much love to you too. I don't know who that is, but shout out.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you say you felt like you've been in training camp since April. So with so much time kind of in between your last fight, which your last fight ended in, it was under a minute, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 43 seconds, rear naked choke. First round, all your victories have been in the first round. What is your thoughts kind of going into this? Now that you've had so much time in between this fight, you've got a lot of experience, but then at the same time, you don't have, other than your first fight, you don't have a lot of ring experience. So what are you going to do? What have you done to bring you into this fight camp? I guess I should say.
Yeah. The biggest thing for me has been getting good looks. I've been getting a lot of good looks since I've started. I the last let me think. Literally every fight that I've had that's ended in under a minute, it's not been the plan to make that happen like that. It's just I've been ready to go all 3 rounds. I've been ready to go 3 hard rounds this whole time. That's the name of the game. Is I've been wanting to show off my cardio. It just things just kind of unfold a little differently. Which I'm not going to complain. I mean, it's always nice going home, not a scratch on me, but that's just kind of where it's been.
Awesome. Yeah. So you always train to go all 3 rounds, but if it so happens to end in an early night, then you ain't mad at it.
Hell no. Hell no. Absolutely
Fair.
not. Yeah,
Fair.
no,
You go ahead. Sorry.
no, you're all good. No, yeah, no, I'll never ever complain. When it comes to having an early night, and the sooner I could drink a beer, the better. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So you haven't been outside of the. Oh, you've been one fight going all 3 rounds. But since you haven't been 3 rounds in the last 3 fights, it's been a while. Are you concerned about that, or have you been training?
Oh, absolutely not. No, I'm chilling. I like I said, the last few fights, the last one in particular, I was really expecting to go into deep waters or something. Um, and I just haven't been there yet. Um, I've been mentally prepared to go all 3 rounds. That whenever I thought I was going to fight Braden Benson, he's number 2 guy or some number 1 guy, something like that right now. Um, I was really expecting to have a war. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it to the dance. He had a lot to talk beforehand. Um, and it is what it is. Hey,
Yeah.
who was that?
Connor Smith.
Connor Smith. I'm a fan of that dude too. I just watched his fight this last weekend. He's a good dude. I like that guy.
Yeah, he is. He is a very good dude. We've had him on a couple of times. We've talked to him. So, yeah. So now since we're talking about it, Brendan has vacated his belt because he is going to be doing wrestling, and he will not be fighting for the next, I don't know. Wait, when does wrestling season normally end? I'm trying to remember.
So he's wrestling in college, so
yes,
to maintain his eligibility, he has to to go and wrestle. So I think it starts usually. I know for high school it's like November, so it's a winter sport. So around
College they start in August is from what I was told, and then they go till what, like when are the matches, like March, April?
yeah, if they make it all the way like to like nationals and stuff, it'd be into March.
To March. So that's why he's vacated the belt from us and giving you the opportunity. So what are you doing now to try to help yourself get to that point where you can wear that gold?
Yeah, the thing of it is I've always, that's been the goal, is to getting a title shot. It wasn't like at first it didn't start off as like a vendetta. Whenever I was saying I want the winner of that match, it was just I wanted to wear the belt as soon as possible. Um, so we got the same thing in front of us right now. The only thing is, I will say I'm a little bitter about is like, I just, it sucked like that. Like, I know like whenever me and him were having that interview, I was talking about like, oh, my preparations, beer, donuts, and all this stuff. But I'm gonna be real. I took it very seriously. Put a lot of stuff into that camp. I had a lot of people going to help support me and everything. So it just really sucked to show up with no fight. I know things happen in the fight game, so I'm never gonna hold it against them. The only thing I will say though is like, I think it's kind of crazy that you have a fight booked like 2 days after me and you were supposed to fight. You know what I mean? I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything. I don't wanna be that guy, but I saw him that day of the fight and he seemed pretty okay to me. I think, you know, I'll leave it there.
Leave it to our imagination. So,
Yep.
well, he's gone. He's out of the picture. You got Aaron Mock.
Absolutely.
What have you been doing to prep for him? Because he's a tough opponent. He's on a 2-fight win streak going on right now.
Yeah. No, me and it's not often I give up a height advantage when I fight somebody, so that's gonna be a little bit different. And he comes with a lot of intensity in that first couple minutes. Win, lose, draw. Most of the time he fights, it's been a win. He comes out, bites on the mouthpiece, and he goes hard. So that's what we've been preparing for. Is somebody who's going to come out the gate ready to fight. Hopefully he expects the same thing back.
Yeah, absolutely. So what kind of statement are you trying to make for this fight? It's your first belt fight. Like, what's the emotions and what's the statement you want to make?
I've just always been trying to prove to myself how good I could be. That's why I'm always trying to fight the best. I'm always trying to, and then on top of that, I'm just trying to see how far I can take this thing, man. And I firmly believe with the amount of preparation I put in, the amount of preparation that people has put in to help me train as well. I don't think I'll have any problems.
Okay. So have you changed anything for this camp, or is it just business as usual? You're going in and
Yeah, not really. I mean, same thing. Show up to practice. Eat healthy, which sucks, man. I hate eating healthy. I love donuts. I really I hate eating healthy so bad. But I stepped on the scale the other day and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to actually cut weight. Like, so yeah, no, eating healthy, practicing hard, and make sure I recover good as well. So I've put in a lot of work for this. I can't tell you how excited I am to actually go in there and fight for the belt.
That's awesome. I'm excited. You're excited. I can't wait to watch the fight. But your opponent, Aaron Mock, what do you expect him to bring to this fight?
Man, I expect him to bring intensity, ready to fight. He's a grappler. I expect him to. Usually, he goes in, throws some wild exchanges, and eventually clinches up, takes a shot. Kind of. He's kind of similar to how my last opponent fought, but he's definitely. I think he's a little bit more cleaned up than that. But yeah, no, that's the thing, man. I think he's gonna come in. He's gonna bring it. So it's gonna be a matter of how I weather that storm. you know, I might do pretty good, try to just be calm and let him tire himself out. Or if I wake up a little weird that day, I might just bite down on the mouthpiece and say screw it, and start throwing. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
well, it kind of goes into what I was going to ask you is what's your game plan? Now that you say you got to cut a little bit of weight, you're going to try to use some of your I don't know how much weight you have to cut or how much you normally have to cut for your fights. But since you seem to be a little bit heavier, you said, are you going to try to use your weight to your advantage then in this? Try to rehydrate up and all that stuff right after weigh-ins?
Honestly, no, not really. Because here's the thing, I'm actually kind of a small, naturally a small 170er. Especially with Ohio, that stupid rule where you have to weigh in the same day you fight. I just don't like cutting a ton of weight when it comes to that. Right now, I mean, in this amount of time I've had, I've tried to put on some muscle, because that is one thing that I'll say in my last fight is like, not that I was like I was weak or anything, but I definitely could tell there that I need to put on a little bit more strength. So I lifted a little bit. I put on some muscle. I don't think I don't have to cut a ton usually. Just this time I gotta take off a couple more pounds than usual. That's all that is. After this fight, if we go to if I start to fight out of state, we're gonna have to have a discussion on if I want to cut to a 155 or put on some more muscle, stay at 170. That's just kind of where I'm at. But
yeah,
that's what it is.
That's what I was gonna ask you next. If you thought about if you could do day before weigh-ins, if you would cut to 155. I mean,
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I'm about that life.
You're gonna be a lengthy 55er. That would be interesting to watch you swing some gloves at 155. I'd love to watch that fight. So you let me know. All right.
Yeah. and that's what my first fight was. It's just like I said, man, Ohio, that's a dangerous game to take off that much weight and with not that much time to recover. I'm kind of a drama queen when I'm hungry, man. So that's why I just want to be a little heavy. I'll fight at 170. I don't care. But luckily for this fight, I don't think I'll be undersized whatsoever. That's we had plenty of time to prepare for this. So we're chilling.
Well, talk about food. I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm going to have to steal your question that you love to ask so many times. What is your favorite, like, what's your go-to meal after the fights? I mean, obviously you said a beer. So a beer is going to wash it down. But what are you getting? What's that food?
No. The beer is right after the fight. Like I'm still in the venue. I'm gonna knock a couple back. But no, it's always Waffle House, man. There's something about Waffle House, the vibes. Everybody always likes, everybody's always in fighting moods at Waffle House, anyways, for some reason. But yeah, no, that's what I said in my post fight. Last time I said I'm about to turn up at the Waffle House. That's exactly what I did. Waffle House is where it's at. I'm a diehard for Waffle House.
Yeah, you gotta go to order there. I know I order the same thing every time I go there.
Oh yeah, I just get a couple of fat or a couple of fat waffles, and I have them put the peanut butter chips and the chocolate chips, both of them.
Nice, that sounds delicious.
What's that one thing you get, like one of everything for like $12? That's what I used to get.
Oh, that's a thing. Yeah, I forget what it's. Yeah, that's a thing though. Yeah, you're right.
We used to call it the King's Breakfast. I don't think that's the official title, but it sure felt that way. All right, well, I approve. I approve of the post-fight meal. All right, Zach, you're going to steal my thunder. At least it's a good one to steal.
Are you going to do anything different? I mean, it's kind of hard to do, to replicate what you did last time. 48 seconds, right? Or 43 seconds. I'm sorry. I want to give you credit where credit is due. 43 seconds. So is your game plan to kind of take this to the ground? I know you didn't take it to the ground purposely last time. You kind of you got a good position and then just took it. But do you have any plans to go to the ground, or do you want to stand and bang? What is it that you really want to do for this fight?
I don't really know, man. Like I said, it depends on how I feel when I wake up that morning. I'm kind of just I kind of react. So we'll see where the fight goes. I think I know where it's gonna go. But I'm prepared anywhere, and honestly, I'm good anywhere. I'm content. The goal at the end of the day, I mean, this is what I told all my buddies. I was like, if I would have been able to fight that day, the plan would have been for me to leave the octagon in handcuffs for what I was going to do to those dudes, man. So that's the same plan this go around.
Oh, good. Love it. So, with that being said, let's bring on your opponent, Aaron Mock. Aaron Mock is with us right now. Aaron, how are we doing, man?
Doing good, man. How you guys doing?
Great. Glad that you could join us, taking some time out of training and everything. You're getting ready for this upcoming belt fight. So give me your thoughts real quick. What's your thoughts on coming on Carnage Fight Series 3 and fighting for the 170 welterweight belt?
I mean, I'm pretty excited. It's my first title fight, and I've been waiting for one. So, yeah, I was happy when I got the notice from Gary that it was getting a title fight. So,
heck yeah. Now, both of you, in all your victories, have never been out of the first round. So I've got to ask you guys this question. Are we going to see a second round for this belt fight, or are we going to end it in the first round? What's going on here, guys?
man, I don't know. I mean, I'd say anything's possible, but with both of us, I doubt it.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with that.
That's awesome. Aaron, so you're on a 2-fight win streak. You haven't been out of the first round. Do you plan for all 3 rounds, or is it just you're all going in there to make quick work of your opponent?
No, I mean, I usually plan for 5-5s, like it's a pro fight, just to be used to it. But it's kind of like bittersweet. Every time I've gone in there, it's just been quick, and I'm like, damn, man, I was ready for 5 full rounds, and it's over in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
yeah. I plan for a full, really rough, long fight, and it just hasn't been that yet.
Nice. So, since we got both of you here, what do you think Colton's going to bring to this fight?
I've only seen one of his fights. He looks like he's a really lanky guy. Looks like he's got a pretty good reach, decent striking. I heard he was a wrestler. So I imagine it's going to be pretty similar styles. He's got good reach. He's going to want to grapple. If we get into grappling, I think it'll be fun. But yeah, I think it's going to be similar styles. I think I'm a little bit bigger maybe, but I think our styles are pretty similar.
Okay. Awesome. So, Colton, if this were to go to the ground, do you think you have a slight edge over Aaron?
I'd like to say so. I just I've been hitting jiu-jitsu pretty hard as of late. As far as wrestling goes, I'd like to say I'm okay wrestler, but I'm good with wherever the fight is, man. For real. I'm excited for wherever the fight goes. I always like standing up as well, so we're chilling wherever.
I love it. You're always just so down to fight.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Please, man, just at the end of the day, please just show up, man. I don't even care what happens there. I just want to fight at this point.
Dude, no, I feel you. I had 11 pullouts in my first year, so I'll be there.
That's crazy. All right, sounds good. I'll see you then.
11 pullouts. That is crazy. I feel like that's back in the what we called the Facebook fighter era, where they go, "Hey, look at me, I'm a fighter." Posted all over the internet, and then the week of, all of a sudden, my pinky's broken. I can't fight, guys.
I
was about to say a lot of turf toe going on those days.
So, with you guys being here, this is the last time I asked this question, and unfortunately, we didn't get another question afterwards. So let's keep it respectful a little bit, boys. Let's not take 20 minutes to go after each other on this one. But if you have one message to your opponent, what would it be, since they're right here, right now, listening to you? We'll start with you, Colton.
Oh, hey, man, best of luck. I'm coming to fight. I expect you to come to fight as well. And please, like I said earlier, man, I just want to actually have a fight. That's it. That's I'm keeping it short and sweet this time, guys. A lot different, like that dude said in the comments, man. trying to be chill in this one. My mother and father-in-law watched the other one. They were like, dude, we didn't know you knew those words. I was like, I'm sorry, guys. I apologize.
Shoot. And Aaron, how about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'd just say, be there ready to fight, which it sounds like you are. And let's make it fight of the night, because everybody that's come watch me has been like, dude, you're telling me I just drove 2 hours to watch you beat this dude up in 2 minutes? I'm like, I'm sorry, it just happened like that. But yeah, I'd say just show up, man. Be ready to fight, and be ready to fight all 3 rounds if it gets to that point.
Hell yeah, that's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
I love it. I love it. Guys are good. You guys are ready to fight. You're ready to throw some leather. I'm excited for it. I know Kevin's excited for it, and Wade is, because Kevin, you can't wait to talk these guys and talk play-by-play about them. Slinging. Hopefully you don't get too bloody on this fight either.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you just led me perfectly into my my question for the face-off here, guys. I've been having some issues lately. My dry cleaner will no longer accept my business. So can you tell me now, should I bring the black button down? Am I going to be wearing one of your guys' blood before this bout is over? What do we think? It's becoming a habit.
I mean, if it's any fun, I'd say you'd be wearing both of ours.
Let's go. All right.
Yeah. Hey, I say dress in white, man. You always got some good stories whenever everybody asks about it, man. I say just do it. Send it.
That's true. That first one looks pretty cool. Like, it'll double as a Halloween costume now.
Hey, now you're thinking.
All right, you changed my mind. All right, white shirt it is.
That's awesome. That sounds like a fight of the night answer right there. So I'm looking forward to this scrap. So both of you, I already asked Colton this, but Aaron, looks like your first belt fight. How does that play into your preparation for this fight?
I mean, I feel like I've treated every fight the same. My coach doesn't let me take anybody lightly, take anything easy. So everything's pretty much been like it's like a title fight. You work hard, show up to the practices, and then just get in there and get it done. Nothing different. Still train hard. Be ready for anything.
Business as usual. I like it. That's awesome. So how has your mindset coming into this fight? Has it been any different? Or you got any like mantras?
No, I mean, I would just say I'm excited. It's going to be a fun night. It's my first fight was in the cube, so it'd be kind of cool. First title fights in the cube. I just think it comes around full circle. But no, I just say I'm excited. I'm ready to fight. I'm glad that he has that mentality of just show up, because I've had so many issues with people not being there. And so I'm just happy to hear that. And I'm excited to just get in there and put on a show.
Awesome. I'm excited to watch you guys. Colton, how has your job been to be able to train for this title fight? You're an officer, so has that played any affect you for this fight coming up, or you've been good?
Actually, it's been pretty awesome. They give you a good amount of time off when you have a kid, and I took it a little bit later, or that leave whenever a little bit later than when my son was born. So I've actually been having a decent amount of time off of work just to train for this and help my fiance with that little dude. So it's been awesome. It really has. Shout out my fiance. I think she's watching.
Yeah. Yes. Family always helps out. So, gentlemen, I got one last question for you here. When one of you win this belt, are you guys willing to come back to defend it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much the way I handle my fights is, I'm like, Gary, find me a fight. He finds me a fight, and that's just what we do. I'll fight anybody. I've never turned down a fight, and So yeah, I'm pretty much down for whatever, man. I don't care. I just want to fight. I like to fight. I'll defend the belt, fight for another belt, whatever they want me to do.
All right, I like that answer. Colton.
Yeah, I got the same thing pretty much. You guys have been more than fair to me, getting me title shots and trying to get me fights booked and everything. So yeah, I have no issue fighting.
I love to hear that.
Fighting
I love
again.
to hear that. So Colton, you have any shout outs? Anybody you want to say thanks to before you head on out here?
Yeah, shout out everybody in my gym. Shout out again my fiance, my kid that are watching. My kid's probably eating. That's all he does. And yeah, and after the fight, if I get that interview, stay tuned. I got some cool words to say afterwards.
All right. We'll stay tuned. So Colton, thank you for joining us, and I guess we'll see you August 23rd in Findlay, Ohio,
good.
at the Cube.
Thank
All
you
right,
guys.
We'll see you later. Bye.
Take it easy.
Thanks, Colton.
So now, Aaron, I got some questions for you here, bud. So what's it like always preparing for 3 rounds and every one of your fight has been done in the first round? Like, it's almost unsatisfying, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it can be. I would say bittersweet for sure. The practices can get pretty rough, and it's like kind of disheartening when you're like, man, you kind of think in your head, I didn't need to prepare that hard, but then coach is right there to be like, no, yeah, dude, like that could have. You never know, man. You can't go in there with the mentality of I didn't need to prepare that hard. So they've been pretty good at keeping me in check. Like, no, we train like it's a pro fight, title fight, every fight, anything can happen. Be ready to work. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, because who knows? Maybe you wouldn't have been as sharp as you were if you wouldn't have trained that hard. You know,
right?
what I mean?
Maybe it wouldn't have went that fast.
Exactly. So, what have you done? I know we've kind of briefly talked about this, but what are you doing? Not to prep for 3 rounds, but just to get ready for anything, I guess. Like, what does your daily training day kind of look like? You know, are you working kickboxing, working ground? Are you doing all that in the same day? You got to break it up. Like, what's your schedule looking like?
So, I mean, I'm a firm believer in, I don't plan it out perfectly every single time. When I hit the gym, also depending on like what guys are there, if I got a room full of good wrestlers, I'm like, today might be a good day to work on my wrestling. If I got a room full of good strikers, it might be a good day to work on kickboxing. But I would say I'm a grappler, but so I make it a focus to usually go in there and work on my hands, work on my striking, and then I usually always grab a bigger guy and get some grappling in and wrestling in. I don't not do anything. I don't make a day just jiu-jitsu or a day just striking. It's mixed martial arts, man. I got to work on all of it. And any gym time I get, because my work schedule is always crazy. So if I'm in the gym, man, I'm there for a while and I'm working on everything.
Awesome. Yeah. So you're saying that work is a little crazy. So does that play a factor on how often you can get to the gym, or you get to the gym pretty much regularly? It's just like at all different times of the day. Like,
so I work a 4 on 4 off swing shift. So basically 4 on 12. And then my 4 off is just 4 hard days. So it's 4 days of work and then 4 days of prep, 4 days of work, 4 days of prep is pretty much how I do it. And honestly, it seems to work out because in those 4 days off, my body's able to recover. And I feel like when I come back, when I did the 6 day a week thing, because I tried that for a while, I felt like since the practices were pretty intense that you'd come in too broke down and you just weren't wanting to work that hard. But when you go 4 on 4 off, that 4 on, you're on because you're like biting at the bit to get to practice and train. And I feel like I appreciate practice more, I guess is the way I should word it. So it makes me work harder and smarter. I focus on the details now.
Okay, that's good. So kind of leading into that, so with recovery, do you take recovery pretty serious? Is there like different things like ice baths or anything that you do for recovery?
I mean, I would say the one thing I suck at is my sleep, but no, I mean, I would say my diet, I make sure that's pretty well tracked, high protein, carbs in the morning, more protein towards the evening. as far as like specific like recovery things I have done like I do like Epsom salt baths, or I'll just have my fiance throw biofreeze on me. I've always been one, like I wrestled in high school and I coached wrestling, and pretty much it was, bite down, man. It don't hurt that bad. If it ain't broke, you're good. And even if it is broke, I've wrestled, broken, fought with broken bones. So, it don't bother me none, man.
He just rub some dirt on it.
Yeah, just bite your mouth guard. I mean, I got a few holes in some mouth guards, and you can always buy another.
Exactly. Awesome. Hey, that made me laugh, and I forgot what I was going to ask you. So your training partners, do you have like specific guys that you tend to look for like wrestling or striking?
Yeah, I will say that my main training partner is, I mean, everybody knows this, is Quentin Richards. Me and Quentin, I mean, when we hit sorry, my son's in the back, he's fussing a little bit. But I would say me and Quentin are like glue, man. Like, he's so well-rounded. I feel like I don't need like too many different guys when I have Quentin, but I do have like, guys like when I go to Demolition and train versus Black Market and train, like me and Braden do good wrestling. I get lucky and get to train with Dylan sometimes and do some wrestling. I guess Jeremy Balboa, Rex Hoffel, he's a good guy. There's a lot of good guys at Black Market for grappling. But yeah, I mean, there's some specific guys, but I would say me and Quentin's my main training partner, through and through. He keeps me in check, and I feel like he's leveled me up tenfold, and I've helped him with wrestling, and he's brought my jiu-jitsu and striking up. So I would say Quentin is my main guy for everything.
And speaking of Quentin, is Quentin kind of like, would you say he's kind of like your mentor when it's coming to MMA? I guess not just specific like jiu-jitsu or something like that. Is he kind of like your mentor since, the guy, like you said, is well-rounded, 5-0 pro fighter?
Yeah, I would. I guess I wouldn't call him my mentor. I would look at Quentin as more like my brother. You know what I mean? Like, I consider like Gary and Justin Flemings, like those were my mentors. Those are the guys where it's like you walk in and they're kind of like that father figure where they're like, they hold you accountable and stuff. But I feel like Quentin is the guy that's like, sometimes your dad says something to you and you're like, it just doesn't quite resonate. But when you hear it from your brother, you're like, all right, man, like that makes sense. I should get my head out of my ass. You know what I mean? I would say he's more like an older brother figure in that aspect of like, I think I'm older than him, but he's more mature in MMA years. So yeah, I would look at him more like an older brother, more guidance than mentor. Okay.
All right. Now, is there anyone that you kind of shaped your fighting style after? Is like, whether it's someone that you train with, whether it's a pro guy from the UFC, is there anyone that, you've kind of looked at like, I want to try to mimic? Because, I mean, as a fighter, I feel like that's good to sometimes mimic these people and then you take it in, you make it your own. But do you have anything like that?
Yeah, I've been asked this before, and it kind of made me think. Not really. I would say growing up, I loved watching George St. Pierre, and I would say like I'm really wrestling heavy, so obviously I can see similarities, not comparing myself to George. But if I would compare myself to like Cowboy, where it's just kind of like anyone, anytime, anywhere, bite the mouth guard, let's get bloody type of attitude. It hasn't always worked out that way. And, live by the sword, die by the sword. I've been dropped too, you know what I mean? Just because I want to get out there and sling hands. But I feel like his mentality of just like, I don't care who it is, just throw me in there. I would say more like that Cowboy mentality.
That's pretty cool. I love me some Cowboy, so it's just one of them down fighters that's just loves to fight and just loves to get in there and perform.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, for the viewers that don't really know you, how'd you get into MMA?
So I would say I've been into MMA almost my whole life, like since I was probably like 7 or 8 years old. And I always wanted to fight. We actually used to have a gym. I'm from Paulding, and there was a gym in my hometown, but my mom was like, absolutely not. That's how I got into wrestling. So I started wrestling, and then I coached for a little bit, and one of the kids came up to me and was like, hey, you should come to jiu-jitsu practice with us sometime. And I'm like, all right, man, just because you guys want me to, I will. And I'm like, oh, you're an MMA gym too, which was Black Market. And they're like, yeah, we do MMA. And I'm like, Justin was like, well, let's see what you got. Come to practice. So I started training, and I'm like, man, this is just fun. I don't even care if I fight. And then, the more I train, they're like, I think if you want to get in there, man, you can. And I was like, I never thought I'd actually get to fight. My mom pretty much was like, don't do that crap. It's bad for you. And I just kind of wrote it off like, well, I'm just the wrestler and, I'll coach and see what happens. But as soon as I hit that gym and finally got to, start sparring, hitting mitts, I was like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a fight and see what happens.
So how was that first fight and those emotions? Like, what did you feel?
It was, it's really weird. I feel like I felt the same with like big wrestling matches when I was in, high school and stuff. When you get to those big tournaments, it's kind of, you get that jitter. Anybody that tells you they're not, they don't have emotions, they're not nervous or scared, dude, you're lying. I don't care. I don't care if I know I can beat the dude. I'm still like, I'm nervous. Anything can happen, and I think it's important because it keeps you sharp. But yeah, I would say I was pretty nervous, very excited, but yeah. But as soon as you hit the cage, it just drains away. It's so weird, and you're walking out, you're like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? As soon as the cage door shuts, you're like, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna bite down and let it happen.
Yep. For me, I was always nervous until like that first, because I wrestled too, and it was like, let me get that first shot off, get a little scramble in there, and then I was good to go. I was locked in.
Yeah, once the straps came up, man, my feet hit the mat. I was like, no, you know what? I'm all right. I've been here a million times. I don't know why, and it's crazy. You're like, why am I nervous? I do this all the time.
I know.
And you can't shake it until it starts, and then you're like, I'm good.
Yep.
It's funny.
Yeah, at that point, nothing else matters. It's just you and that opponent. I mean, locked in a cage. Let's do this. I get that. I understand that. So what is throughout your, well, let's put it all together. Training camp, the fight, everything. What is your favorite part about MMA? Like, what is it that just gets you going, that makes you every time go back to that gym? Because we know we've got some up days and some bad days. What is it that keeps you going back into that gym to get ready for another fight?
I would say, and it's going to be super cliche, is it's absolutely my family. I'm a firm believer in, be ready for anything at all time. And I have 2 boys, and I want them to both feel the same way. I didn't start training to fight. I just started training so that way I'd be, a capable dad. I wasn't a dad at the time, but I wanted to be a capable boyfriend, now fiance, husband, all that. And it just translated to, okay, I'm capable, and now I'm up there with those guys. Let's just start fighting. And they drive me to just, you can't take days off. You need to be better. There's always something. There's always somebody that can beat you or teach you something. So I would say just trying to be the most capable, husband, father that I could possibly be, as a male, as a role model to my boys and to anybody that, decides to look up to me. I feel like I owe it to them, especially, growing up, I didn't have anybody, that pushed me into fighting or, being like, I shouldn't say masculine, but just that really capable, person. And I want my boys to look at me and go, you know what? Dad's right. He showed us. I didn't just say it. A lot of guys, how they are. They're just like, oh, yeah. You used to get in bar fights when I was younger, learn how to throw hands. I see red. It's all good. I'm like, no, you can go back on YouTube and watch them if you want, man. Like, I showed up. You can do it. And I'm showing you through, my career that it's possible.
Now, if your boys want to get into fighting, are you going to train them and allow them to?
Don't ask me, ask their mom. But if you're just asking me, I would say I won't ever stop my boys from doing whatever they want to do. If they want to be in the marching band, be the best damn trumpet player you can.
Exactly.
I can't lie and say if you ask me, I want to wrestle or fight, I won't get a little extra excited. But I mean, if it's something they want to do and I feel like their heart's in it, yeah. If I feel like they're just doing it because I did it, I probably won't let them. But if I can see it in the gym, and you can see it, I mean, you guys have wrestled and fought and all that stuff. When a guy's there to be there, or what you call a Facebook fighter.
Yeah.
So if I feel like they just want to do it because I did, then no. But if they really want it and they're showing me, then absolutely, I got no problem with it. Okay.
Good. All right. I like that. That's sound advice for anybody and any parent doing that. So now let me ask you this: what's your wife's thoughts on you fighting all the time? Does she take it? She's a big supporter. Does she like to go and watch, or is she one of those people that are, I'm going to watch, but through my fingers kind of a person?
Yeah. In about 2 months we'll be wife. She's fiance now. She's my biggest supporter. I genuinely couldn't do it without her because the help that she provides me with the boys and the house and just mentally and emotionally what she does for me. I could not fight without her. If I hadn't met her, I wouldn't be here on this podcast today talking about a title fight. No chance. So first off, I'll put that out there. But I would say, yeah, she supports me. I don't know. I guess I never really asked her if she hides her. I don't think she does, though, because in one of my fights, that one in Kentucky, my last fight in Kentucky, you can hear her screaming as I'm like elevating the guy and putting him down. So I know she's off that chair yelling. She ain't got her eyes closed at all. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure she gets nervous, but she tells me all the time, this is your passion. You love doing it. Until that changes, she's got my back on anything I do. So
that's great. So the wise saying was like you're only as good as the woman you choose to be with for your life. For your fights that you have done, what fight have you learned the most or has taught you a valuable lesson?
Without a doubt, was my second fight ever against Randy Myers. First off, that dude's a stud, and I won't ever take that away from him. But I learned that that was when I had that 11 fight, fiasco where like people just kept pulling out, and he had it too. So this is no excuse. But I took that long like break between fights, and then I took the fight with him. I didn't know anything about him. He didn't know anything about me. And I learned really quick, dude, if you ain't staying active in that gym, it's going to be a bad day. That dude was staying active, working hard. And, I was kind of like, well, he's, this is going to be another fight that pulls out. I'm getting kind of pissed off at this point. And, he showed up. He was ready to fight. I was kind of half-assed in it. And, he made me pay for it. And I learned real quick, like, dude, you better show up ready to work every time because I ain't never feeling this again. And I promise you, I won't. Like, it ain't ever happening again.
For sure. Is there any point in your career so far that you almost just walked away from competing at all?
Yeah, I mean, I would say before my second fight, I mean, it took so long to get another one, and it was just fight after fight. And I mean, even Gary was like, dude, this is ridiculous. Like, people just kept pulling out. It's not that I wanted to quit. I was just like, I don't think you guys are going to get me another fight. Like, I don't think it's going to happen. And there's like rules. So it's like, I can only fight certain people that want to know, and these guys that are like 3 or 4-0 don't want to fight me because there's no point. They're not going to get a whole lot out of it. And so I'm kind of like stuck in limbo here. And I genuinely thought, I was like, dude, I don't think it's ever going to happen. And by the time it does, I'm going to be like 30 years old and I haven't trained in 4 years and it's going to be pointless.
Yeah, for sure. So I know you're only about to be 5 fights into your amateur career, but what is your projection of 4-year career? How many more fights you want to do amateur, or do you plan on going pro at some point?
I obviously the end goal is pro. I don't, I like amateur, and you can learn a lot. I'm not in a rush to go pro, but I would say in the next, couple 3 fights, if the coaches agree and they think I'm ready, I think I'm ready. Yeah, I would probably go pro here sooner than later. I'm 28, man. I don't have a whole lot of time to sit here in the amateur, role. And if I feel like I should stay amateur, I probably shouldn't keep fighting. There's no point. If you're not trying to move up, some young dude that wants to move up is going to come flatline me. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I want to keep moving forward. I'm not trying to stay amateur forever, just until they feel like I'm ready to fight pro.
Right on. Okay. Well, we want to thank you for taking some time out. It looks like you had some family time that we took away from you, so we apologize.
Oh, you're good, man. We went to dinner, and then I was like, I got to go out to the car real quick. We were all leaving, so it worked out perfect.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us. We want to give you an opportunity to do any shout-outs, any sponsors, anybody like that.
I'll say, first off, shout out to my fiance. She's amazing. Without her, I couldn't do it. Quentin Richards, main training partner, love him to death. And then, Black Market, Justin Flemings, my head coach, and then Gary and Demo. Without all these guys, I wouldn't be able to do this. So I don't have any sponsors. I do this on my own dime, man. I'll wait to get sponsors.
Well, you know what? I just thought of this. Hold on. I should have done this earlier. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I should have done this earlier. Would you like a glimpse
Oh, shit.
at the 170 belt right here?
Man, that looks like it's just about my waist size.
Yeah. So, right here, I should have brought this out. I didn't even think about it, guys. I apologize. I should have brought this out when you guys are both here. But right here is what you're fighting for. Got you right here.
Yeah, that'll come home with me.
Well, again, I want to thank you for joining us, and I guess we'll see you August 23rd.
Absolutely, man. Hey, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll catch you there. Thanks, bye. Great. That's going to be a great fight,
Yeah.
Both of them.
Hostility in this one, but competitiveness and respect for each other. So,
yeah.
kind of remind me of like a Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier type deal where they just respect each other, but they're down to fight.
There's smash.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
make no mistake. They both want that win. I think somebody mentioned in the comments section that, hey, this is a change of pace, not only from the last time we had Colton on, but also just from our last interview, our last main event interview. But rest assured, if you haven't seen any of their previous fights, go watch some of the tape. But it will be violent in there. I will be grabbing the poncho out of our cameraman Tom's pocket. I will be strapped up and ponchoed up for that one. It's going to be an incredible fight, and I would certainly make sure. Luckily, there's no intermission right before this one, is there, fellas? Because you might don't step away, because it might be like 2 minutes of pure violence and chaos based on both of their reputations, but it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be action you want to catch. Now, luckily, Wade's going to have your back because we got instant replay now. But still, you can just handle your business at intermission. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we should have probably two, because you always have to do that one before the pros starts. You'll have our little gap right there to fill in on some stuff, so you guys can go to the bathroom right after the fight. Promise, right afterwards. But if you do want to catch it, make sure you can go to carnagemediappv.com. You can go and pre-order the pay-per-view there. We also right now have tickets available for it if you want to come in person. You go right on the website, go right underneath the poster for the pay-per-view, and you can go and click on there and get your tickets. Now, Wade, what's your thoughts on our main event that we got coming on? We watched Jimmy in his last one, and we're going against Dylan. We watched him in his last one, and he had a nice split decision win.
Yep. Yeah, so I think it's going to be fireworks. You got Jimmy who comes, and he's got a lot of experience. He's down to brawl. He did it with Q in the last main event. And then he turned around and was like, you know what? Give me another one, and I want to fight Dylan.
Yeah. He did. He asked for it.
He did. He's like, give me Dylan. I want him.
Yeah.
So he's not backing down from any tough fights. And Dylan, he's on his comeback, and he has a statement to prove. So this could come down to a hell of a fight. So do not miss that main event.
No, you can't. I mean, like we saw even in his boxing match, which you can go and check out here on our YouTube channel. He dropped the guy with the body shots. So he's been working on that stand-up. He said that when he was on here interviewing with us, he said that. He said it was like, I've been working on these hands, and he's like, I feel great. I feel fantastic right now in my stand-up game.
Yep. And Jimmy stacked, but Dylan cutting down to 170 for their first time. He's looking stacked too.
I'm eager to see what he's going to do at that weight class. I mean, I think Kevin had even said this way back when Clayton was still with us that he should go down to 170. He thinks he would be a good fit for him.
Yep. Yeah, I was definitely saying he should go down.
Yeah, and like you guys said, with the especially how it kind of parallels with the Jimmy and Q fight. That was another one. I think coming into it, a lot of expectations were, oh, these guys are going to be great. Might be a lot of grappling.
Mm-hmm.
And that was mainly a stand and bang fight. You want to talk about getting covered in people's blood? I mean, Amin was baptized for the first time at that. It wasn't even just me. It's the number of people getting showered in blood that work for this company is it's almost like zombie-esque. You know what I mean? That's the only other time I can think of where blood goes around so quick. It's insane. So we know, based on the last two times at least we've seen these guys fight with our own eyes, that they're going to be willing to stand in there and trade blows and can deliver some punishment too. Because that's the thing. When we saw Q, who did get the W, when we saw him, he helped us out with some commentary. I was happy for him. I was pleasantly surprised at how well he had healed because, Jimmy did some damage in his own right. Obviously, Q walked away victorious, but he did not walk out of there without, some cuts of his own and some bruises of his own. So, we know both of these guys can deliver punishment. And then we also know that if one guy starts to get an advantage in that stand-up game, that we could switch gears immediately and start to see a grappling showcase. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's really going to be hard to predict which way that goes, not only as far as, who's going to take it down, but like what type of fight are we even going to see? Is it going to be a different fight each round? Because it really could be, depending on how each fighter in their corner thinks the points are going. Will we see somebody switch to, let's get some takedowns, let's go for some submissions? But it could end up being exactly what we got last time, which was an absolute slugfest. Mm-hmm. So you bring your ponchos too if you're coming in person.
Yeah, like you said, Kevin, we don't know. I mean, it could also be someone thinks that their ground game is superior, and they're like, well, I'm going to dominate you, and so I'm just right off the get-go, I'm going to feint that jab and go down for the takedown, and I'm going to show you I'm better at this than you are, which can be a very, very interesting thing, especially if you got two knowledgeable guys on there. You got one or two things. Either they're going to be locked up jiu-jitsu style, or it's just going to be scramble city down there. And if that happens, we're going to find out who's got the gas tank to go, because Wade, personally how draining that is to just scramble and scramble and scramble.
It takes a lot of energy, and I mean, it's going to be an interesting matchup because the way I think Dylan has the edge wrestling. I think Jimmy may have the edge jiu-jitsu wise, and then stand-up wise, I'm unsure. It could be equal. So
it might come down to who can evade and strike just a little bit better. Mm-hmm. I think that's what it's going to come down to, the stand-up game. I'm excited to see it. I really am. I can't wait for this fight now. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, for sure.
So, yeah. So if you guys want to catch that again, it's going to be Carnage Fight Series 3, August 23rd, Findlay, Ohio, at the Cube. You can get your tickets and pay-per-view at carnagemediappv.com. And then what that then leaves us with, I think, is everyone's favorite time. I mean, Wade, I think it's one of your favorite as well. But it is the Wrestling Minute.
The Wrestling Minute.
Oh, different kind of wrestling from here on out, folks. So buckle up, a buttercup, because SummerSlam is in the books, gang. Now, for those of you who watched last week, you know that I walked through this whole card with Zach. He was our Carnage casual, if you will, to say, hey, would you watch this? You think this is worth 2 nights? So first question, did either of you guys watch SummerSlam, or did you hear about any of the major storylines?
Yeah, I've heard about it. I didn't watch it all. But I did watch a lot of clips. I obviously, the things that I got to see were I can't think now. I'm sorry. The match that you had talked about that you thought would have been a little too dramatic with our country singer. Help me out.
Jelly roll.
Jelly roll.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I said, hey, Jelly Roll should really flatten Logan Paul from the top of the ropes, but unfortunately, it was reversed. So I was a little disappointed in that one. And then the only thing I saw was that the briefcase came out.
Dude,
did you call that?
we called it, dude.
You called that. That wasn't us.
I
That
was
all
sitting in
you.
my living room. I had a buddy over watching it with me, and I had, got out my cork board, my red string, and I had walked him through my whole idea. And we're just sitting there, and he's like, "Dude, you fucking called, dude." It was like, dude, it's how it's happening. So yeah, Seth Rollins, it was a fake injury. As the saying goes, the smart marks are the easiest ones to fool. The guys that like myself that might look into the articles online, when you think the inside information, it can be maybe sometimes just as easy to work that crowd as opposed to the folks that just show up on the arena and just turn the cable on Monday night, which, speaking of cable, I wasn't expecting to talk about that, but we actually have two wrestling topics tonight with the SummerSlam. So, yeah, Seth Rollins cashed in. CM Punk was champion for about 4 whole minutes. And then on the Friday night SmackDown before SummerSlam, John Cena cut a passionate program where, just a quick reminder, the week before, after dodging, John Cena been a bad guy for a while. Guys, remember we covered that,
Yep.
how much we love The Rock getting involved and meddling in the WWE's
glorious.
affairs. We love that. We're huge fans of that here at this program. And so John Cena, he kicked Cody in the balls. He's hit him in the head with the belt. He has run away from him. He's hidden. He's cheated. Travis Scott popped his eardrum for real for a shoot. So it's got a lot of animosity here, right? So when 2 weeks ago, when John Cena showed up and said, "Oh, I've got this movie thing. I won't be able to fight at SummerSlam." As part of their feud, Cody Rhodes put him through a table and grabbed John Cena's unconscious hand and signed the paper for him. So Cody's out here committing fraud. He needs this belt so badly. And people had talked about maybe the double switch. Will we see Cena turn to a good guy in the match and have Cody finally, snap and go bad? No. John brought Cody out the night before SummerSlam and said, "Hey, man, you put me through a table, you forged my signature, and I just want to say thank you for that. That was the kick in the ass that I needed to be reminded that I don't want to be a bad guy. I don't want to ruin wrestling for these people, even though I've spent the last 9 months going around." That's a bit much. Spent the last 5 months going around saying, "I want to ruin wrestling. I hate wrestling. I hate all of you. You're stupid. You suck. But now I'm gonna be a good guy now. And this Sunday at SummerSlam, you're gonna get the John Cena that you want." And so yeah, John Cena just turned good guy the 2 nights before the big blow off match.
You called that too.
Yeah. Yeah, some of them I'm less excited about. The one cool part about this one was he did throw shade at The Rock during his promo. He said, somebody came in, sold me on big moments. That almost kind of felt like a little inside
real.
baseball, where he's like,
little realness in that
these
one.
damn suits come in here, don't understand my business, and they make me work with Travis Scott and do a bunch of stupid shit because they want Twitter impressions. They don't understand the long-term impacts of this business that they they only spent billions of dollars on it. Why bother? Why let the people who made it worth billions of dollars, why let them run it? How could they know? I'm the genius with the suit and someone else's paycheck. I know what to do. Well, we should do my thing. Okay. Can you feel the mana? I get goosebumps every time I'm in a crowd of people. So I think Cena threw some shade at The Rock, maybe Triple H a little bit, probably a little bit Triple H too, and turned good guy, only to then get beat by Cody Rhodes in a great match. To be honest, it was kind of dumb, like we talked about. It felt like an episode of ECW because they had this street fight blow off after having a TLC match with 4 tag teams in it. The Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys were there. If that tells you anything about how crazy that thing was, they brought those guys out. They weren't going to disappoint. You had a woman's title match that was no disqualification. Then you had another cage match. And then your blow-off match is a street fight. And I'm like, oh, great. So just another, hey, you want to watch 4 car wrecks tonight? I mean, I guess. And so it was a lot of stuff that went on, but Cody won, and they had their nice moment. And then people heard music they haven't heard in 2 years as former UFC heavyweight champion Brock Lesnar came out and F5'd the crap out of John Cena. So there we have it. The new rivalry for John Cena will be Brock Lesnar. So sorry, that was a long way to get there, guys. But what are your thoughts on just that whole thing? I mean, just the Cena heel arc is over. The final championship run is over. There will be no rematch. We're on to Brock Lesnar. Any thoughts?
Go ahead. when did Brock? This is my question. The way you can go. When did Brock Lesnar get cleared to wrestle? Because did he have some medical thing where he couldn't wrestle because of it?
If by medical thing you mean pending litigation, then yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how far I'm out on this, because here I thought it was because he was injured. Like that's what I heard. And I just like, okay, he's injured, whatever.
I think at one point he had, diverticulitis, the same thing that Kenny Omega had. I think he had to have like part of his intestine removed or something like that. But no, the reason he hasn't been at work for 2 years, Zach, is because he is named in the Janelle Grant lawsuit. And her allegations are that Vince McMahon used her as a bargaining chip in Brock Lesnar's last return. So the last time we saw him at SummerSlam come beat somebody up, it's alleged that Vince was in there saying, oh, yeah, sweetheart, he wants to see videos of you peeing or whatever. I don't know. So I probably shouldn't do the Vince voice when I talk about this stuff. It's a little inappropriate, but goddamn, pal, I just can't help it, okay? He's like, oh, God, baby, you're gonna go to dinner with Brock Lesnar. He's a mastodon. And so as far as it goes, we know that they had text conversations and I think had dinner together, allegedly. So I don't know how much of Brock may have even been aware that Vince McMahon was pimping out his paralegal. He might have not known. We don't know how much of this arrangement he was privy to, but that's the general situation. So a couple of weeks ago, I guess it was all clear he's good for now. I would think with this being such a behemoth of a business that it is, that they have crossed their T's and dotted all their I's before bringing him back. So I assume legally he's in the clear. But yeah, so that's what happened there. Wade, what are your thoughts? I mean, I'm sure Brock's a blast from the past, but I know you have watched a lot of Cena stuff. What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, yeah. I mentioned that he was going to get turned around back to – he wasn't going to go out on being a heel. Oh, no. And so that's something I was expecting. Brock Lesnar, I was not because, yeah, I thought he was going through that legal issue and he was going to be out. So I guess for the wrestling world, a good surprise for some.
Yeah.
Lesnar?
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly got a reaction in the stadium. I think, listen, trigger warning, we're an hour past, so I think it's okay if I use an adult term here, guys. There's a thing in this world called post-nut clarity, right? And I think what happened, like the audience heard the music and they're like, oh my God, it's Brock Lesnar. This major superstar came in. Oh my God, big surprise. And then everybody started looking around and they're like, oh yeah, why was he gone this whole time again? Ooh, yeah, I don't know, Chief. This might have been a bad call. So it's like in the building, it seemed like it got a great reaction. Then if you went online, not a great reaction.
Yeah, it was like people probably just forgot, like, because that's what people do. We just got short memory spans, and you just like, oh, he's been gone for a while. I forgot about him. Oh, he's back. I loved him. And then you get some time to think about it, and then you go online like, hey, this is not okay.
And then you Google it. Well, and then in this case, her attorneys, I think, made a statement either that night or the next morning. Essentially, forgive my inability to remember all the legal jargon, but essentially saying like, hey, Brock ain't out of the wood. This ain't over yet, pal. We're still here. This is still pending sort of situation. So that probably didn't help people's, forget about it to have that get posted in all fairness, which is their right. So, yeah, just a crazy situation. I think that the WWE is only going to be doing more of this type of stuff, guys, because that leads me to part 2. Sorry, I know this is a 2-parter because there's some major breaking news today. On top of, I was already picking up the broken china from my living room that I smashed when I found out that ESPN, of all companies, had purchased the rights to NFL Red Zone, which means my Sundays are forever ruined. I am look out, UFL, here I come, because fall football is about to be destroyed from me with that company running my favorite Sunday program of all time. But not only ESPN, not content to ruin the NFL. They're not content with that, guys. They signed a multi-year deal with Disney. Now we're going to have ESPN and the WWE signed a deal where I don't know if you've heard about this yet. ESPN's rolling out a $30 a month app where essentially, this is good business. People have been begging for this for years, been saying, listen, I don't want to pay for Sling TV. I don't want to pay for $80 for YouTube TV. I'm literally the only thing I use cable for now is live sporting events. ESPN, can I please just pay you directly to watch ESPN? And that has finally happened. And at least the 10 major WWE premium live events starting in 2026 will be live streamed to this ESPN app. And the fine print also suggests that if you are one of the 12 people alive that still pays for cable television, you will also have access to this, which begs the question, are pay-per-views dead for the WWE? Is this have premium live events just turned into episodes of Raw now with this new format? It's going to be stream only. Obviously they've been streamed events for a long time, but up until I think even last weekend, you could still buy a conventional pay-per-view if that's how you preferred. If you'd rather spend $60 than $8 on a Peacock subscription, you could still do that. But going forward, it's going to be moved from Peacock. So instead of what will soon be $11 a month, you're going to have to pay $30 a month to watch it. What are your guys' thoughts on that whole package, I guess? Is ESPN on the right track here? Do you think this is good or bad for keeping the fan base, bringing new fans in? Does this do anything for you? We'll start with Zach since I tied you guys up last time.
Well, I think this is the start of the death to pay-per-view in general. Just because we still have the looming contract with the UFC of what they have to do too. And I think this might kind of be that start, that first roll, that snowball going down the hill that is just going to keep on tumbling and everybody's just going to follow suit at some point. Now, is this good? I think it's always good to get ahead of the ball game before everybody else does. So yeah, honestly, I think it could be. You know what I mean? Because we used to have cable. No one really uses cable anymore. Every once in a while, you still have some people that do. You'll get the bunny ears still out and do it that way, or streaming. And I think streaming is going to be that new cable. You're just going to buy it from the certain person right there, and that's just how it's going to be. Everyone's going to be individual, so they can make their money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think it's smart business in the sense of them doing that, so they can. A lot of people just watch ESPN, and watch sports. So here, I'll give you this app. You don't have to worry about all the other mumbo jumbo. Pay us for what you're gonna watch, and they get it solely. And then for pay-per-view, I think it's going to start leaning towards that way. And I honestly think it's going to be way better because like if you like the UFC doing a deal with ESPN, they got paid up front a couple $2 billion, and then they had to do so many shows. Now, if they got years of data to know how to map some things out, to be able to be like, all right, let's make a deal. You're putting all your pay-per-views on here, and this app's going to be $30 a month. How many people do I need to sign up to have a good ROI, you know? And I think it's going to be more attractive if they can figure that all out for the fans, because I'll definitely pay $30 a month to be able to watch every single UFC event.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's smart.
Yeah, I agree. I think generally speaking, it'll be good. They're going to convert a lot of folks early on because what they're doing, I think that, like I said, this rolls out in 2026, I believe. So if you buy this ESPN app, if you buy a year subscription for this new app when it first comes out, it'll also be bundled with Disney and Hulu for a year. And so you don't get like a discount, like it would be the same price. Or I think the first year it is for $129 or something. You'll get a year worth of ESPN. You also get Disney Plus. You also get Hulu, which in related news, Hulu is going away. Not really a surprise there. Disney's owned that for quite some time. In fact, there's like, you can see Hulu, you can see like FX shows, I think, pop up on Disney Plus. I think if you were to click on them, it would still pivot you over to Hulu, but it makes way more sense for them to consolidate that. Why have two streaming apps for the same stuff when you can just put all in one menu? So yeah, they're already consolidating. I wonder how long it is before ESPN is just like Disney is just a section on Disney Plus itself, but we'll give that 6 to 8 years. But it's very interesting. We'll see how it goes. I think more accessibility is always better, but I will just say this, and we've been covering this since its inception. Raw on Netflix has not been an improvement by any stretch of the imagination. The show has gotten worse maybe not worse by the week, but it's not very good. These pay-per-views, these PLEs are already riddled with ads. Not only do you have like traditional ad breaks like you would watching a television show, but now everything is sponsored. They got the damn Slim Jim logo on the tables that they're breaking. Like, so now you pull out a wooden table to put a guy through it, and even that is corporate synergy. They're all freshly painted black. They got the WWE logo on one side, the freaking Slim Jim logo, for which, just by the way, they are just making them. I hope the Macho Man's estate is making bank off that, because they're just no offense to LA Knight and Bianca Belair, they're not the ones selling Slim Jims. These people are selling Slim Jims off the back of Randy Savage's 30-year-old popularity. So, you got a dead guy out here hawking Slim Jims for you on your table. Everything is sponsored by Snickers, or you got Wingstop. You got the freaking Prime hydration station. Meanwhile, they're the last company alive that hasn't bailed on Prime, who's about to be bankrupt, by the way. Please don't drink Prime. If you're late to the party on that one, let us be the ones to help you out there. But yeah, so that is how they're able to afford this stuff, and that is sort of the cautionary tale we all sort of ignored. Zach mentioned Facebook fighters early in the night, but like, if at one point in time, instead of the free Facebook model, if we had all been willing to pay for that type of a service monthly, we probably would have protected a lot more of our own personal data. And, so there's one thing, like, nothing, if something is free, you are the product. Keep that in mind. Half the time in this world, then that means it's your data that's the most valuable asset. So you got to ask yourself, how are these companies able to go from needing to sell hundreds of thousands of pay-per-view tickets to make these things profitable, and now it's just ads? So what does that mean? More ads being crammed down your throat in order to pay for it. So the viewing experience is just going to get worse and worse, in my humble opinion. But it's like everything, these things are like a pendulum, right? And then they'll have the course correct, they'll have no choice. WWE fans still remember the doldrums of 2018, 2019. We're not even 10 years removed from the WWE's maybe worst era of all time. So it will swing back. But that's a very long wrestling minute tonight, guys. I appreciate you. I've got to head out here soon. I did way too much talking for a guy who's got 4 podcasts tonight.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you filling us in on what is happening into the WWE world. So, without further ado, so Kevin, where are you about to head off to? I mean, where can people catch you and see you?
Well, hey, if you really, if you thought any of me ripping into a major Disney IP was entertaining, I'm about to go spend an hour talking about Attack of the Clones, Star Wars Episode 2. So over on our Dweeb channel, we have been reviewing the Star Wars films, and it's more of like a retrospective. So I have more notes on the behind the scenes stuff and the making of and all of the what ifs and that kind of fun stuff. So if you're a fan of that, come hang out with us. It's every week right after this show. I go and do Han Shot First, which is our Star Wars program. And then after that, I am a guest on the Simon Short podcast tonight doing an NFL team position draft. So that'll be a lot of fun. Just follow my socials and I'll post that when it does go live.
Wonderful. Wait, where can it find you, buddy?
Absolutely. Right here with you fellas. Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you won't be able to be with me, but you'll be able to see the work of me on the ones and twos. If you go to our YouTube and watch all the previous fights, especially you can watch Colton and Aaron Mock from their previous fights on our YouTube. Get a little background on their fighting history at Carnage Media on YouTube.
And if you want to catch Carnage Fight Series 3, August 23rd, Findlay, Ohio, at the Cube. Go and check out any information that you need right there at carnagemediappv.com. Get your tickets, get your pay-per-view. You can also look at other fights that are coming down the line. So go ahead and check it out, and we'll see you guys next week.
Absolutely.